We use both Pyrex and Anchor containers, but after a while the red leads tend to disintegrate, so we need a replacement. And when you have a 3D printer, you want to print one. I found that the best material is a combination of PETG and TPU, and in this video I'll explain how that came to life. And by the way, this video is not about food safety, it's about modeling for 3D printing and actually being able to print two materials together, considering that one of them cannot work inside an AMS. Let's see how that is done. Getting the leads to work require a little bit of testing, and I'll tell you everything that I did. First of all, I printed the leads just in TPU, and it wasn't a really successful test because, first of all, the TPU, especially huge surfaces like this, are extremely hard to remove, especially that I have the engineering plate. You can remove it with a lot of alcohol and putting maybe in the freezer, but it's not going to be pretty. Second, TPU is very soft, so if you place anything on top of, let's say, this big tray, it's going to start sagging and it's going to lose the seal. So TPU on its own didn't work very well. And then I learned that PETG and TPU are perfect for each other. They adhere excellent. So I added 5 layers of PETG at the bottom to get more stiffness, but also to ensure a very easy removal from the build plate, and that worked excellent for me. If you have AMS and you want to try the TPU for AMS, please go ahead. I'm not a big fan of it just because of the fact that it's not as soft as I need, and also it tends to delaminate, so the layers are not really adhering very well to each other, TPU to TPU. It's great though for the convenience point of view because you don't need to babysit the printer, which you would need for any other type of TPU that doesn't work with AMS. But in the end, for me, I wanted to get a functional lead, so I'm using TPU 95A HF, and it worked very well. Require a little bit of babysitting because this one is doesn't work on the AMS, so it needs to be on the external spool, and you can see here I have it on my external spool on the printer. So when I need to print one of this, let's say print this plate, I have to tell the printer what type of what spool I want to use for this. So it's the external spool. You're gonna see all kind of warnings, but I wouldn't be concerned. It worked very well for me, at least. So send it to the printer and it's gonna start printing. So again, another warning, and then you can send it to the printer. And I'll tell you next what to do in order to change the filament, because now all the characteristics are based on the PETG, and TPU is slightly different, actually quite a lot different. So what do you need to do to successfully print TPU when you change the filament manually? Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. Let me just stop this print. I added a pause before layer 6. So the first millimeter, first 5 layers are going to be PETG, and then the printer is going to pause. And I'm going to show you what to do next in order to successfully print. And let's print. So you can see the PETG in the third bay of the AMS, and I have the TPU currently in the dryer, and now it's just a matter to get them to work. When we start, because PETG is going to be the first one, we will use the PETG settings, so that's already inside the profile. So with that being said, let's start printing. We are at the end of layer 5. That's the last layer for PETG, and now the printer pauses. Be aware that we cannot really unload the PETG using any of the functions from the printer. So if you try to go to the feeding menu and try to run unload, it's not going to work. Because my PETG is in the AMS, I turn off the AMS and now I'm manually detaching the PTFE cable and retract the cable for PETG. Next thing, make sure that the operating temperature is 255 degrees so we can run the unload manually by using the extruder function, and you can see now I can pull the cable on my own. Next step is feeding the TPU in the same tube, and it's very important to do that from the external spool just because this material doesn't like to be pushed. You can create clogs, you can create uneven printing. Cable now it's in the PTFE tube. Just gonna push it all the way to the extruder and then I'm simply gonna press extrude down. Notice I'm still at the feeding temperature. Okay, so let's wait for a second. Now it's in the extruder. I'm just gonna go down and we're gonna pay attention to make sure that the PETG turns into TPU, and we need to purge quite a bit, so simply keep pressing the down button. After the purge, do not right away update the extruder temperature like I'm doing here. Because once you restart the printer, it's going to revert back to the PETG temperature. That's the moment where you should set it to 230 degrees, which is the TPU temperature. Also notice that I'm operating in slow mode, 50% of the speed. That is critical for TPU, considering that we're starting with the PETG conditions. So whatever is left now is simply press the start button and then come back to the 230 degree temperature. So let's press start and see what happens. And the printer started printing the prime tower when we just noticed that the temperature went back to 255 degrees. So it's very important now to adjust it to the TPU temperature, right? So don't rely on what you did before the printed restarts. Now I'm back to 230, and fortunately I caught this early enough. It's just printing the prime tower, so we shouldn't have that much of a problem once it's starting printing the first TPU layer on the actual part. Let's see the result. PETG and TPU, I think they love each other. Look how easily and natural the TPU layer adheres on the existing PETG material. It's going very, very nice. Let's fast forward for a moment. We are at the end of the first TPU layer on PETG, and you can see it's very, very smooth, very nice. It's we dried the filament, as you can see, so we weren't expecting really any major problems. It's a bit slower than normal, of course, but yeah, it works. TPU laid on PETG, so the first few layers, the first millimeter, it's PETG, and the rest is TPU 95A HF Bambu Lab, and it was amazing. Now let's see if this is gonna work very well as a lead for Pyrex or Anchor tray. Let's see. And you can see a picture of my big lead there, and then I can tell you it worked like a charm. It fits the trays, it fits them very, very well, and the food containers are there. Again, this is not about food safety, it's just problem solving using 3D printing example. Thank you.